the #1 drink to clear leg arteries and end poor circulation, senior health care. You wake up with that familiar stiffness in your calves. It's not the pleasant kind of ache you'd get from hiking through the mountains or dancing at your niece's wedding. No, this is the dull, nagging pain that makes you wince before your feet even touch the floor. You swing your legs over the edge of the bed, rub your knees, and mutter something under your breath that isn't quite printable. Blood circulation, that invisible current that once rushed so freely, now crawls like a stubborn toddler refusing to move. And here's the kicker. If you let it go unchecked, you probably won't survive this. Dark, yes, but it's the reality no doctor bothers to package in a polite sentence. You shuffle to the kitchen, each step reminding you that your legs feel like they've been shrink-wrapped overnight. The veins just beneath your skin look like a road map drawn by a distracted toddler with a blue crayon. Your feet are cold even though it's summer, and socks don't help. You press a finger against your ankle. Notice how slowly the color returns and mutter, well, that's depressing. But you're not alone in this. Millions wander around with clogged arteries in their legs, chalking it up to just getting old, when in reality, it's like having a traffic jam in your body's most important highways. Now picture your arteries as a series of tunnels. Years ago, they were clean, freshly paved, and wide enough to handle rush hour traffic. Fast forward through decades of bacon, stress, skipped exercise, and the occasional extra slice won't hurt, and those tunnels are now choked with sticky sludge. Every heartbeat is like a car honking in frustration, trying to squeeze through a lane that's half the size it should be. Poor circulation doesn't arrive with fireworks. It creeps in like that one guest who overstays their welcome, slowly making every step heavier until you forget what light legs used to feel like.
And let's not sugarcoat it. Clogged leg arteries aren't just about discomfort. They raise your risk of heart attacks, strokes, and wounds that heal slower than an old dial-up connection. Maybe you've noticed cuts on your shin lingering for weeks, or your toenails growing at the speed of government paperwork. These are all neon signs screaming, "Houston, we have a circulation problem." Still, it's not all doom and gloom, because as you shuffle into the kitchen, there's a whisper of hope sitting right there in your fridge. The drink, your soon-to-be morning ritual that promises to sweep away some of that sludge, widen those tunnels, and give you back something you thought was gone forever: effortless movement. The NYO drink to clear leg arteries doesn't look like much at first. It isn't bottled by a celebrity chef or sold in some boutique health shop with whale songs playing in the background. No, it's simple, familiar, and downright cheeky in how it hides its power in plain sight. You pour yourself a glass of water, and your mind drifts to the ingredients you've heard whispered about. Beetroot with its shocking purple hue, lemon with its sharp tang, ginger with its fiery kick, and maybe even a dash of apple cider vinegar, nature's sassiest cleaning product. Each one sounds harmless alone, but when they team up, they transform into what you might as well call Drano for your arteries. Imagine beetroot sliding in like a flamboyant guest wearing a velvet suit, shouting, "I bring nitrates, I'll relax those vessels." Then ginger pipes up, fiery and impatient, elbowing plaque like it owes him money. Lemon follows, rolling its eyes, but quietly scrubbing away oxidative stress like a tired janitor after a kid's birthday party. And apple cider vinegar? Well, that one's a bit eccentric, but it's famous for dissolving gunk and lowering cholesterol like it's on a personal vendetta. Together, they create a drink that doesn't just taste like you've accidentally licked a spice rack, it works. The beauty of it is in how quickly you notice the shift. Not instant miracle cure fast. This isn't one of those scammy ads where a cartoon heart winks at you, but subtle. Day by day, the heaviness in your calves eases, the coldness retreats. That long walk from the parking lot to the grocery store feels less like a marathon and more like, well, just a walk.
Of course, the drink won't fix decades of questionable life choices overnight. Remember when you thought microwave pizza counted as a balanced meal? Yeah, that's not disappearing because you chugged a beetroot cocktail. But it's a start. And sometimes the smallest start One glass in the morning is enough to tilt the scale from despair to possibility. As you take that first sip, you can almost feel the ingredients launching their campaign. Blood vessels relaxing, oxygen moving, plaque being nudged aside like crumbs brushed off a countertop. Your body has been waiting for this. Like a plant getting its first drink after a drought, you begin to sense that hum of life coming back online. And here's the punchline. The drink is only part of the story, because circulation isn't just about unclogging, it's about fueling. What you put into your body becomes the material your arteries rebuild themselves with. Sip after sip, you're literally repaving the highways inside you. And the smoother the roads, the faster and freer the traffic. You look down at your legs, pale and marked by veins that tell their own story, and you realize this isn't the end game. The aching, the coldness, the slow steps, these don't have to define the rest of your journey. You can change the narrative, one glass at a time. Sure, it won't make you sprint like a teenager, but it might just give you the freedom to walk across the park, to dance a little at that wedding, to laugh at yourself when you nearly trip over the dog because, guess what, you were moving too fast. So you finish that first glass, set it on the counter, and smirk. Poor circulation has been hogging the spotlight long enough. It's time to give your arteries a standing ovation and let the show roll forward.
You set the empty glass down, and for a moment you think, that's it? One glass and I'm supposed to believe my arteries are about to start squeaky cleaning themselves like a cartoon pipe commercial? You chuckle, because honestly, you've seen enough over-promised miracle cures to know better. But this time, the ingredients aren't some exotic berry picked by monks on a mountaintop during a solar eclipse. They're sitting in your kitchen waiting for you to notice them. And they don't need a mystical sales pitch. Science has already handed them the microphone. So let's meet the cast properly, because your soon-to-be favorite drink is less of a mystery potion and more of a greatest hits compilation. First up, beetroot. You know, the vegetable that looks like it murdered your cutting board every time you slice it. Beets aren't shy. They stain your hands, your countertop, and if you're careless, even your shirt. But inside that dramatic color is nitric oxide, the circulation superstar. When you sip beet juice, those nitrates convert inside you, helping your blood vessels relax, widen, and let blood flow without the usual traffic jam. Imagine your arteries suddenly remembering they're expandable, like a kid discovering bubble gum for the first time. It's not glamorous, but it works. Then there's lemon, bright, sharp, and unapologetically sour. You squeeze it and the zing practically wakes you up before the caffeine does. Lemon brings vitamin C, antioxidants, and a knack for fighting oxidative stress, the sneaky kind of damage that leaves your arteries sticky and inflamed. Think of lemon as the grumpy but efficient janitor, muttering under its breath while scrubbing down your inner walls. It doesn't get applause, but you notice the results when things stop looking so grimy.
Now ginger steps in, fiery and unpredictable, like that one friend who always speaks their mind at family dinners. Ginger isn't subtle. It brings heat, a little burn in the throat, and anti-inflammatory compounds that cut through swelling like scissors on wrapping paper. In your arteries, ginger helps relax the muscle lining, thins your blood a touch, and turns your circulation from sluggish molasses into something closer to free-flowing syrup. Not glamorous imagery, but hey, it beats clot-filled sludge. And then there's apple cider vinegar. Oh, vinegar. Sharp, pungent, and forever the diva of health fads. People have tried to make vinegar fix everything from belly fat to bad moods. But here's where it really earns a seat at the table. Lowering bad cholesterol, nudging blood sugar down, and helping dissolve little fatty deposits that clog the works. You take a whiff, your nose wrinkles, and you instantly feel healthier just for surviving the smell. That's vinegar's charm. Blend them together. Beetroot juice, lemon juice, ginger, and a spoon of apple cider vinegar, and what you've got isn't just a drink. It's an ensemble cast, each ingredient covering the other's weaknesses. like a quirky superhero squad. Beetroot widens the roads, lemon scrubs the walls, ginger keeps the traffic moving, and vinegar enforces the no junk allowed policy. It's less Hollywood blockbuster and more ragtag team that somehow saves the day. Now, let's be clear. The taste? Well, no one's bottling this up and selling it in vending machines next to cola. The first sip is, let's call it adventurous. It hits your tongue like a sour, spicy dare, the kind of flavor that makes you question your life choices for a few seconds. But then you swallow, you exhale, and you think, okay, I could get used to this. And the thing is, you do. By day 3 or 4, it stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like a ritual. You find yourself looking forward to it, almost proudly, as if you're part of some underground club of artery cleaners. While other people are chugging caramel lattes topped with enough whipped cream to qualify as dessert, you're raising your glass of beet, ginger, lemon vinegar concoction and thinking, I'm basically Benjamin Buttoning myself right now. And yes, you'll still make a face after every sip, but it'll be the face of someone who knows their veins are whispering, thank you. But the magic isn't only in what the ingredients do separately, it's in how they overlap, how they affect stack like bricks in a sturdy wall. The nitrates from beets lower your blood pressure, and the ginger's blood-thinning compounds keep those vessels open longer. Lemon's vitamin C helps prevent the very oxidative stress that vinegar quietly combats by trimming cholesterol. You don't just get one benefit, you get the whole orchestra tuning up and playing in harmony. You might not notice it instantly, but small signals begin to appear. The pins and needles feeling in your feet doesn't stick around as long. Your toes don't feel like frozen peas at bedtime. Walking to the mailbox feels less like training for an Olympic event. The improvement sneaks up on you, the way a sunrise does. Slow at first, then suddenly the whole world looks different. Of course, you'll still need patience. Anyone promising overnight artery clearing is basically selling snake oil with better packaging. But this drink doesn't need hype. It's been studied, tested, and quietly validated by more than just internet chatter. Doctors might roll their eyes at the vinegar part, but mention beet juice and blood pressure in the same sentence, and even the skeptics start nodding. And you keep sipping, because deep down, you feel it's doing something. You picture your arteries like grimy pipes, and each glass is a mini flush, a maintenance check, a friendly reminder to your body that you still care. You catch yourself smiling at the thought that somewhere inside, microscopic battles are being won sip by sip. By the end of the week, you'll know this ain't just another trend you'll abandon like that dusty exercise bike in the garage. This feels different, and maybe you can't fully explain it yet, but you'll soon follow the drink deeper into your body's plumbing, watching it travel, watching it work, because the real magic happens once it leaves your lips and starts its journey through the very tunnels you're trying to save. You take another sip the next morning, and as the tangy burn slides down your throat, you can't help but wonder, where does it actually go? Sure, you know the basics, liquid enters, body absorbs, but in your mind's eye, you want a guided tour. So imagine yourself shrinking down to the size of a dust mote, hopping onto a bright red blood cell like it's your Uber and hitching a ride. Buckle up, because this ride doesn't have seatbelts, and your arteries are the highways. First stop, your stomach. The drink splashes in, collides with gastric juices, and breaks apart like confetti at a parade. Nutrients don't hang around in the stomach too long. They're impatient hitchhikers. Beet nitrates start dissolving, lemon vitamin C releases, ginger's compounds loosen up, and vinegar's acetic acid elbows its way into the mix. Together, they get absorbed through your gut lining, sliding into your bloodstream like VIPs with an all-access pass. Now you're cruising inside your bloodstream, and suddenly the scenery changes. You see the walls of your arteries up close, not the sleek, glistening tubes they once were, but roughened, narrow passages. Plaque clings to the sides like grime in old plumbing.
yellow and lumpy, narrowing the lanes. Blood cells bump into each other, traffic slows, and you realize this is why your calves ache. This is why your toes go numb. It's not age, it's architecture falling apart. Then the beetroot takes the mic. The nitrates convert to nitric oxide, whispering to your arterial walls, "Relax, expand, let traffic through." You watch as the walls soften, stretch, and widen like an old elastic waistband finally giving some slack. Red blood cells slip through with more space, oxygen delivery improves, and your feet, those frozen little rebels, begin to feel a hint of warmth.
Next, ginger struts in like a firecracker, sending anti-inflammatory compounds across the battlefield. They hunt down swelling in vessel linings, cooling them down, making space for smoother flow. Ginger also has a mild blood-thinning effect, and you imagine it flicking away tiny clumps of cells before they can form a clot. It's like having a bouncer at the door of your arteries, keeping troublemakers out. Then, lemon squeezes in, literally. Vitamin C molecules attach themselves to unstable oxygen radicals, neutralizing them before they can scratch up your artery walls any further. You've seen what rust does to old pipes. Oxidative stress does the same to you. Lemon doesn't just prevent new damage, it polishes the interior like Windex on a dirty window. And vinegar? Vinegar sidles up quietly, less flashy, more strategic. Acetic acid slips into your metabolism, coaxing your liver to produce less bad cholesterol. Over time, LDL levels drop, and the sludge stuck to your artery walls starts to loosen its grip. You watch in awe as tiny fatty deposits chip away, flake off, and dissolve, carried off by the flow. Like graffiti washed from a wall, the surface begins to smooth. With every heartbeat, you're carried deeper into the circulatory maze. Past the aorta, branching roads twist and turn, narrowing toward your legs. You ride along, noticing how the drink's compounds continue their work, unclogging, widening, cleaning. It's not magic, it's chemistry, quietly restoring order. You reach your calf muscles, where the pain used to scream at you after just a short walk. Now, with improved oxygen delivery, the muscles contract more easily, fatigue comes slower, and the ache quiets down. It's like a dimmer switch turning up the lights in a once dark room. Blood finally flows into the tiniest capillaries, delivering warmth where coldness had ruled for years. Your toes, neglected and icy, wiggle, as if saying, "Thanks for remembering us."
And here's where the comedy kicks in. Picture your arteries as a neglected kitchen sink pipe. The drink is the mix of baking soda and vinegar fizzied its way through, loosening up the gunk, unclogging what your plumber would charge you a fortune to fix. Only here, the plumber is free, and the fizz is beet-stained. You grin because you're basically running a cleaning service inside your own body every morning. Of course, not everything gets scrubbed away overnight. Plaque that took decades to form isn't going to vanish faster than a politician's promise, but little by little, each sip turns the tide. Less inflammation, better flow, clearer highways. As you ride through your bloodstream, you notice the knock-on effects. Your heart doesn't have to pump quite so violently to push blood through. Your blood pressure lowers, easing strain on the whole system. The oxygen reaching your brain improves your clarity. You're less foggy, less sluggish. Even your skin, that forgotten organ, looks a bit brighter because circulation isn't leaving it high and dry anymore. It dawns on you. This drink isn't just about your legs, it's a system-wide upgrade, a ripple effect. When circulation improves down there, it improves everywhere. You've basically bribed your body's entire highway department with a cocktail of roots and citrus, and now traffic's moving smoother from head to toe. You finish your microscopic ride, zoom back out, and return to your kitchen table. The glass sits empty, beet stains clinging to the sides like evidence of a crime scene.
You chuckle, because if anyone asked, you'd say you just went on the most entertaining inner body road trip ever. And as you lean back, flexing your toes, just to feel that subtle warmth, you realize the drink isn't just working, it's teaching you. Teaching you patience, teaching you how small daily rituals ripple into massive change. Teaching you that clogged pipes can flow again and that old legs can feel new warmth. Tomorrow, you'll pour another glass, and the day after, because now you know what happens inside every time you take a sip, and frankly, you don't want to miss the ride.
You wake up on a Saturday, and something is different. For once, your legs don't scream at you the moment you stand. The usual icy sensation in your toes is gone, or at least dialed way down. You stretch, shuffle to the kitchen, and pour that crimson-tinted drink without the same hesitation as before. This isn't a dare anymore. It's a ritual, one that's quietly changing the way you move through your days. The little things stand out first. When you walk across the living room, you don't instinctively grab the chair for balance. The trek to the mailbox doesn't feel like punishment. It feels normal. You stand in line at the grocery store and realize you're not scanning for the nearest bench anymore. Even your feet, once numb and cold, now feel present, grounded, carrying you without complaint. Later, as you stroll through the park, you notice you're not the only one battling circulation issues. You see other seniors leaning heavily on their canes, rubbing their calves, shuffling slowly, and you think, that used to be me. It still could be. You're not cured, you're not invincible, but something has shifted. Each sip of the drink has been a nudge toward freedom. It's not a dramatic Hollywood transformation. You haven't suddenly become the sprinter you never were. You're not about to join a marathon or post gym selfies captioned #artery cleansed. But your daily life? It's lighter. You laugh more easily, walk farther, and even catch yourself humming when climbing stairs that used to leave you winded. And yes, you still crack jokes about it. When your grandkid asks why your drink looks like cough syrup from Mars, you grin and say, "This is Grandpa's rocket fuel." When your neighbor wrinkles her nose at the vinegar smell, you wave your glass proudly. Smells like health, tastes like victory. You've earned the right to be smug about it.
Of course, the bigger picture hangs in the background. Your risk of serious complications is shrinking. Every day you support your arteries, you cut down the chances of ulcers, strokes, heart attacks, the scary stuff doctors like to rattle off like a grocery list. And while you'd never say it out loud, the relief that you're no longer waiting for the other shoe to drop is its own quiet victory. Doctors may roll their eyes when they hear about miracle drinks, but the science is there. Improved circulation from beet nitrates, less inflammation thanks to ginger, lower cholesterol nudged by vinegar, oxidative stress fought by lemon, all of it stacks up. They may shrug, but your body doesn't lie. You feel the changes every morning you wake up a little stronger. You didn't expect this when you first poured that messy, tangy glass weeks ago. Back then, you were desperate, skeptical, even a little bitter. Now you find yourself protective of the ritual. Skip a day, you feel guilty, like you've cheated your arteries. Stick to it, and you feel like you're giving yourself years back. Not flashy years, not celebrity magazine years, but the kind that matter. The kind where you can walk the dog, play with your grandkids, or just wander the park without fear your legs will betray you. Life after the drink isn't perfect, but it's brighter. You grin more often, shake your head at your own stubbornness, and laugh when you realize the answer wasn't some prescription pill with a mile-long list of side effects. It was a bunch of everyday ingredients teaming up in your kitchen to remind you your body isn't done yet, not by a long shot.
Now, as the evening quiets, you sit by the window, a soft glow spilling across the room. Your glass sits rinsed on the counter, ready for tomorrow. You notice how the house hums gently, how the air feels a little easier to breathe, how your body seems to settle into itself with less complaint. Your mind drifts to the tiny highways inside you, those arteries once narrowed and strained, now slowly learning how to open again. You picture them not as pipes, not as mechanical parts, but as living, breathing passages, carrying warmth, carrying life, carrying you toward moments you thought were behind you. It's a quiet comfort, this new rhythm. A sip each morning, a walk that stretches a little longer each week, a laugh that comes quicker than it used to. You've learned that change doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, nudging you gently, until one day you wake up and realize the heaviness is eased. The world outside grows still, the last threads of daylight fading, and you lean back, closing your eyes. You let yourself feel the warmth in your calves, the gentle pulse in your ankles, the ease of breath that reminds you circulation isn't just a medical term. It's the river of your life, flowing quietly, endlessly. And as you sit there, you think of tomorrow's glass, waiting to be poured. Not a burden, not a chore, but a promise. A promise that your arteries will keep clearing, your steps will keep lightening, and your days will carry a little more freedom. You smile, barely, as though whispering to yourself, "This is enough."